My name is Miles Johnson. I'm an attorney with Columbia Riverkeeper. We are here today because the Columbia and Lower Snake Rivers are too hot for salmon and steelhead to migrate safely upstream. They're too hot because the dams have made the rivers too hot, and climate change is pushing our salmon over the brink of extinction. We're here at the mouth of the Little White Salmon River where it meets the Columbia, and because we're seeing sockeye salmon impacted by hot water, growing lesions on their body and dying hundreds of miles away from where they should be spawning. We're also here today to call on our leaders in the Pacific Northwest to fix this problem, to bring our communities together and restore our fish. We want to recognize the unique and enduring relationship between Native peoples and the landscape and their traditional territories. We respectfully acknowledge that the Little White Salmon River rests on traditional lands of Native peoples, including the Yakima Nation, who have cared for these lands and waters since time immemorial and continue to do so today.
I know they're in peril today because of the heat. It affects everything, the land, the trees, the brush, the roots that grow within there that our people gather, and also the fish which our people gather as well.
Ever since, the infrastructure, the hydro systems, it's always been a negative impact for our fish runs, the different runs that occur year round, and sockeye being one of them, during the summer period. We have our ceremonies that are ongoing to this day and that they will continue to go, and the importance that why we must maintain this way of life. It was given to us by our Creator, which is why we were placed here to take care of these ceremonies and all these first foods that are provided for the people here. And our neighbors here today, you're also in that picture as well. You are neighbors, and that these foods too sustain you and your families as well. And that it's a very important part of our ecosystems right here, that not only it provides for each and every one of us, but as well as for our wildlife, and the headwaters that nurtures the forest, and the other wildlife that are in the areas. And this is what we've been saying all along, that our ancestors have been stressing. We see the negative impacts today of climate change. I could picture a hot, warmer day, but we're kind of overcast, but we have smoke that is above us due to wildfires that are occurring in the Northwest. And I think from our perspective, traditional knowledge, it plays an important role with what we're seeing to this day. Who wouldn't know these lands better than our own people? Our own people know these things because it has been handed down orally and traditionally. And the songs that we carry, speak of the importance of carrying on our first food ceremonies. And one of the things I want to stress, again, as we have our technicians who have their own family members, and those that are present have their family members, their children, is what's it going to look like when they become your age, maybe when they become of an elder. I had a grandpa who had the opportunity to fish Salila Falls as well as many other elders, and he said that when you become my age, there probably won't be any salmon left.
I'm the fisheries program manager, but before I was a fisheries biologist, I'm first and foremost, I'm a tribal member who grew up in a traditional home, and these teachings were passed on to me by my elders, and the teachings and the values instilled from my ancestors that, through these beings that were given to us by the Creator and the unwritten laws, and it's our responsibility to speak for them. They sustain us, so it's our responsibility to take care of them in return. And I know oftentimes the message kind of gets overlooked, to where They think, oh, the Yakima people are salmon people. Yes, we're salmon people, but it's not just about the salmon, it's about the environment. You know, we're the Yakima Nation, we're, you know, at the forefront of moving these projects forward and taking a stand to, you know, we need to work for that healthy environment and plan for a future without the dams, the major changes to the hydro system. And, you know, like Councilman Takala said, a lot of the times the burdens of our society lie on the backs of the salmon and those who depend on them. And it's not just tribal members, it's the general public, it's everyone. We all drink water, we're all beings of the same earth, and we share that common appreciation and what sustains us all. And you know, as a program, we strive to achieve these things, looking at things like the hydro system and impacts and flow regulations, and you know, there's a really complex system, but we keep pushing forward to do our best to make sure that those are managed in appropriate ways so that it benefits all people in our region.
We have given enough. We have compromised enough. We're tired of the bribes. We're tired of the broken promises. When I hear our people talk here that are older than me and saying that our salmon are dying, our berry fields aren't what they used to be, our kaush and our piache seasons and all the other medicines that we gather are only a few weeks instead of a few months. What do I tell my grandchildren? How do you continue to give hope for the future? We carry on the best we can. But we are now at a precipice. And that precipice is either we change, do we survive? We know that the corporate greed is mighty, but we know that the power of the people is strong when we have good hearts and we carry on our ways the best we can.
It's unnaturally warm. It's not healthy. You can look at the river and see that it's not healthy. We slept outside today. It's maybe part of the reason I'm having a hard time keeping it together, because I didn't get much sleep because it was so hot inside our house. We have a fan and I turned it on and it just didn't push the hot air out. So we dragged our mattresses out onto the deck last night. And then because the deer, I live in Mosier up on the dusty hill, and the deer are so stressed for water right now and not finding water, I've been gathering apples at my sister's house and bringing them in large buckets. So all night the deer were coming to the apples, and all night the dogs were barking at the deer, and we were waking up on the porch. So I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, but it's all connected. It's all connected to the heat and the unnatural system that we have created here.
Yeah.
Hello.
You guys smile a little big, okay? Go ahead, Tyler, or Clint.
One where they're all facing the running race and then turn around with the... I'll help you. It's supposed to be so I can... What if we put these in the water? Swimming.